You know, the one thing in photography so many overlook is great lighting. Now, whether you're afraid of using artificial light or you just don't know light that well yet, camera gear isn't going to replace that. No matter what gear you have, how good it is, it's not going to replace good lighting, period. You can take great lighting and make a mediocre camera and lens look fantastic. For me, the exciting moments is getting a new piece of lighting gear, whether it's a lighting stand, an umbrella. Like, these things get me excited, and you know, this is it for me. This is what my images require to be their absolute best. And you know, I want to go over this today because it's so overlooked and so ignored. Now, I'm just using this little Lasolite umbrella because it's a threefold. This is, you know, a 33-inch umbrella in here. This is fantastic. Now, there's a whole bunch of different ones on Amazon that you can find. I don't think they make theirs anymore, but there's more out there. And I honestly, just last night, ordered another one of these, and that's what prompted this video today. And it's not this one. It's a white reflective versus the shoot-through. I like shoot-through, but I like the white reflective better. I don't know why, I just always have, but I just saw a new company that came out with one, and I want to try it and see how it is. So that'll be in a video coming up. But this one I've been using for years and years. I have two of these. I have one in my car at all times. It's just there in case I need it. And then I have one in the studio that I take with me. And then I have these stands. Like, now, out of all the stands I've used so far, these are still my favorite. It's a decent weight. You know, a lot of the lightweight stands, the legs on them are like this really light aluminum to make them lighter. And I can't tell you how many times they got bent or something like that. It's not that they're a bad stand. It's just that you have to be ultra careful with them. But the stand bottom is what hits the ground all the time. This is what carries the weight. So I'm thinking, you know, I want a heavier metal part to this. And these are decently solid metal parts. But this is the Padat stand. I leave these in my descriptions all the time because I use them all the time. The only issue I have with these stands is this rubber piece here. It came loose and I have to glue it. So like I have to squeeze it to turn it, to tighten it, and to loosen it. Now this top part here, this is another thing I will not do without when I'm using a speed light because of the mechanism at the top. So, you know, I like that there's a grip that you could just, you know, tilt it. But this here, where your flash goes, it locks in. And it is so important. I use those little nubs and the other type stands with the umbrella mount. And I've had too many break and too many dropped flashes. With this one, I just never have to worry. I put it in, I lock it in with their locking mechanism, which is fabulous. This is by MagMod. And if you don't get anything from MagMod, get these. They really are that good if you use speed lights. This is the best I've ever used, period. I'm not sponsored by them, but I do love this thing. So having this set up like this is fabulous for me because it's tiny. The whole thing is just tiny, and I can use any speed light flash I want, and use the shoot-through umbrella or use it, you know, bare flash like this. It just really does a nice job. It's easy to carry around. It's lightweight. Let me grab the flash. So today I'm just going to be using the Leica SF60 because I just want a little bit more power today. And a lot of people ask me about this flash, so I wanted to show it. So let me show you how this locks on because it's really good the way they developed this. So you just slide it in. Look at how easy I'm making it. And then you lock it in. That's it. I don't even use the lock on the flash because this is locked in. This flash isn't going anywhere on this. And then I can tilt it like this. I love this thing. I can't recommend this enough. If you watch my videos from the beginning, you'll always see one of these every time I'm using a speed light in any which way because it is just the best bracket for speed lights. And then this, I mean, I can't get over, like, I love small, and if it works and it produces great light, what more could you ask for? Now, this one, which isn't available anymore anyway, but this thing is so tight. Anyway, it comes with 2 sleeves. I don't even really need this, but I have it, so I use it. It's like to protect it, and it's white, so I want to keep it clean. But this is tiny, which I'm sure you know how an umbrella works. And then it opens up that big, and it's great. I have one bend in here, but it's still working great. There's no issues with it. And I've had this for years and years, and have been using it for years and years. So like, it's held up. Even with that bend, it's just, it's really not much of a bend, by the way. But I just want to show you how this goes in. Now, this is a thicker shaft, but thank God that MagMod was smart enough to make their opening, because some of the opening is like with ProPhoto. If you're using one of their, you would never be able to put this in their flash adapter on their, like the 80 or the A10 or B10, B10X, they wouldn't even fit. But with this, it fits. And, this setup, for on the go is fantastic. Now, obviously, you can use this as a bounce umbrella, but I use this specifically as a shoot through 99% of the time. But I'll show you both. We're going to do a shoot today, and it just works. And now I use the wide angle diffuser on the flash when I'm using an umbrella like this to spread the light even more. Plus, you have the ability to move this in or move it out, depending on the power that you need and the direction that you need. But it has a good reach. It's, and with the stand, I mean, the height of this is great. This is all I need. And this is a really great portable setup. But I just want to show you the light I can get out of this and why I get excited about this stuff versus a new camera or a new lens. Because when you have great light, again, you can make any camera system look fantastic, even an iPhone. Now, I'm not comparing iPhones to professional cameras. Don't go to, better than that. But anyway, and then the other factor of this is I think the biggest issue people have with this is, oh, I'm not going to look professional with an umbrella. Like, I'm sorry, but the only thing that's going to make you look professional is your end product. And if this produces great end product and it's this simple of a setup, and you don't have to spend thousands, what more could you want? Now, there's one thing I've learned over 44 years of doing this is it's not about the gear. It really isn't. Like, I have expensive gear. I have expensive softboxes that I rarely use. Like when I grab and go, I'm taking this setup so often because it just works. Now, I have the other one that I use, that flip. I love this too. Don't get me wrong, I think this is fabulous. You know what I mean? It's a great setup, but this works just as well. Honestly, it really does. Now, unless I want to control light more and throw a grid on here, which I don't even think this has a grid. And it may. I think it does have a grid. But, this is a nice setup, and if I want to control light, I'm using this. But half the time, I'm not trying to control the light. I'm moving this in different angles to get better light. And I can control it somewhat just by the placement of this light. So that's what we want to do today. And I want to get a really nice soft light, easy setup, 1-speed light. And I know, like, this flash has the rechargeable battery. You pop it out, you recharge it, and it does last a long time. But I've rarely had to change AA batteries in one of these flashes for an entire shoot. And usually for, like, if I'm shooting an event, a long event, I'll change the batteries out once in this if I'm lucky. And that's if I'm using the flash at full power a lot. Otherwise, one set of batteries is going to get me through an entire event. I know it's easier to say, well, this is so much easier. It is. It is, like, definitely using this one battery in here that's rechargeable is easier than using AA's. But I love these flashes so much. I'll deal with the AA's. I don't care because I just want good light, convenience, something that works. Anyway, let's get to the shoot, see how this setup does. And then I'm going to follow this up with a new one that I just purchased because I'm again, really excited about an umbrella. And I do get excited about this kind of lighting because lighting makes your images. The camera doesn't, the lens doesn't. Yes, they help. Yes, they're important, but lighting is the most important part of photography. Now, before we get into the full lighting part of this, I just want to touch base with the Leica shooters out there that were interested in this SF60, because I do get a lot of questions about this flash with that C1 remote. It's not worth it. If it was $100 combination, I would say it's not worth it. Just because number one, the CF60 flash overheats way too quickly, and the remote and flash misfire all the time and lose connection all the time. For almost $1,000 for this combination, it's crap. I don't even know how else to put it. I believe Nikon bought into this and said, once we throw our Leica name on it, it's going to be great. And unfortunately, it just doesn't work that way. So yeah, this is junk. I don't know how else to put it. Now, I love the CF40 flash. I think it's fantastic, and it's made by the same company, Nissan. But this CF60, it just it's too small of a package. It overheats, it misfires. It's just not great. So stay away from it. That's my only opinion on this flash setup. Now, this umbrella. I show this umbrella a lot in my channel because I love it. Literally, when this folds up, I can throw it in my back pocket and carry it anywhere. Now, I'm using that Padat stand, which is a carbon fiber with the steel legs. So it's not like a lightweight stand, but it is small. It folds up kind of flat, and I don't know. It's my favorite stand out of all the ones I've tried for like a travel stand. Now, there's another travel stand that's aluminum that I've shown on this channel before, and I'll leave these both in the description. They both work extremely well. It's just that you have to take care of the aluminum one a little bit more because it bends a little easier. But it folds up a little smaller. It's much more lightweight. I still would choose the Padat for carrying around. If I just had to carry the stand and put this umbrella in my back pocket, I have a really nice lighting setup that I can take anywhere with me. That's easy. So that's why I use this umbrella so much. Now, I said when I found that umbrella with the reflective white versus the shoot-through, I was really excited about it, and I ordered one immediately. It wasn't even a question. The thing was like $49, and I didn't care because lighting really does mean that much to me. And if I can have a fold-up, three-fold umbrella like this that folds up this small in a white reflective, I'm going to be in heaven. So I cannot wait to try that. And as soon as I get it, I will definitely show it in this channel. I don't have anything against the shoot-throughs. It's just that flash is less efficient with a shoot-through than it would be with a white reflective, because you're losing light. I mean, a shoot-through, actually, you can turn this around and use it as a reflective, believe it or not, because as much light that's going through this umbrella is bouncing backwards. So that's something to remember. Now, I love the shoot-through. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a great umbrella to use, and it does create beautifully soft light. Again, it's just less efficient than a reflective would be. So I wanted to put that out there because I do get a lot of questions about this one, and this one's held up pretty good. I mean, it's built okay. I think if this thing hit one wind gust, it would just rip it apart. But I don't use this outdoors that often. And when I do, it's usually, good weather and I don't have to worry about wind. But these are the old aluminum bars in here with the shoot through, or with the three-fold umbrella. I haven't found a three-fold umbrella with the carbon fiber or the fiberglass rods. And, if I ever do, I think I would buy it instantly. But, for now, I'm using this one. Like I said, this one has one arm that's just a little bit bent. But I use this so often that I'm impressed that it lasted this long, because I've had these for probably close to 5 years now, if not longer. And I have two of them because I really do. I have one in my car all the time in case I'm out somewhere and I just want to use an umbrella and I didn't bring anything. I pull that out every single time. But otherwise, this is in my bag. When I travel, this is always in my suitcase just in case I need it. And it's so small and lightweight, it doesn't even take up any room. I mean, it's a tiny little setup. Now, as far as the flash is concerned, it doesn't matter what speed light you're using. You can use any speed light there is. For me, I'm really loving the new Godox V100. People ask me, is it worth an upgrade from the V1? Now, I had the V1, and for some reason, I sold it. I had no desire to keep it. And, the X3 remotes come out, so I got really excited about that. And I tried it with the V1 Pro, and I was just like, okay, yeah, it's fine. And I just didn't keep it. But the V100, I'm not selling. I can't tell you why. I can't specifically pick the reasons, but I love the power. I love the color that's coming out of it. I don't have to worry about gelling this to correct the color coming out of it. I think the battery life is spectacular on this flash. Um, and the only issue I have with the new V100 is that light pattern. It's tighter. And I think they made it tighter. They put a different reflector in there to boost the power even more, to get it to that 100-watt second output. So you can actually see the fall off a little bit easier because it's a tighter lighting pattern. Now, as far as this lighting setup is concerned, with the shoot through, you can't screw up with this. Like, you notice anywhere I put this, it's giving me great light, good wraparound light. When I put it to the sides, I can, shadow a little bit the side of her face, but it's still such a good wraparound light. And I'm in a smaller studio with white walls, so this light is literally bouncing everywhere. So it's going to create the fill, but I'm still able to sculpture her features out in her face by positioning this light in the right direction for her. Now, each subject will be different, depending on their features, and how you want to angle it. But if you angle it up higher and point it down just a little more, it'll carve out cheekbones more. But if they have a decent cheekbone already, you don't have to angle it down as much, or have those extreme angles quite as much. Now here I'm just doing this like beauty shot, which I always put it directly in front of the model, and shoot right next to the umbrella. Again, it's fantastic. The only thing you have to watch here, remember that offset with the speed light and then the umbrella, because of the bracket. The head's not directly in the center. So with the shoot through, you're going to get a little bit of a hot forehead, or higher up on the head. It's going to be a little bit warmer or hotter than the rest of her. And you just have to compensate for that. Like, move the flash back just a little bit, or lower it just a little bit. Now, I just wanted to do one shot here without flash, so you can see what I'm getting without flash, versus, a mixture of ambient and flash. The flash is doing, at least 99% of the work, or 95% of the work. Other than that, it's, and I am shooting this in manual mode. I'm not shooting in TTL. It does work in TTL when it actually fires. I'm sorry. It does work pretty decently. And I think if you were, a very casual user of flash, that just shot like one shot every 3 minutes, this flash setup would be fine. But again, for $1,000, it's really not fine. But anyway, I hope this answered some of your questions with flash and the umbrellas and the shoot-through umbrella. I cannot wait to get that reflective umbrella. I'll definitely do a video on that when I get it. But anyway, thanks for watching as always. If you have any questions about this, don't hesitate to ask below. Other than that, thanks for watching as always. I really appreciate all the comments and support. It's fantastic. And, when you're using these, just, play with them, move them around. You're going to see, with this type setup, it's very easy to get great lighting without too much effort. Thanks for watching.